I thought our kids, they showed great resolve coming off 12 days of practice without a game. You know, it's like having a second training camp. And nobody wants a first training camp, and we had 2 training camps. And so it was good to see that they were rewarded for all the work they put in that 12 days. And we didn't come out rusty. My concern was we'd come out a little rusty. We hadn't played in so long, and even though we've been working hard, we had no game time. But I thought we came out and obviously got off to a great start. And then when they did go to zone, I think all the work we've done on the zone offense since the Cal game kind of paid off today. And we still missed a lot of open shots, but the ball moved a little bit more freely. You know, against Cal, we put it in the high post, but we kept looking in there, and trying to force it in without moving it. And today I thought we moved the ball better and put it in the high post and low post and did a lot better job with our zone offense. About this game specifically, you know, we knew we had to take care of the ball. The Zags run as well as any team in the country. And turnovers were a big priority. We only turned the ball over 9 times a day. So that was big for us, forcing 16. The other thing we did specifically for them, you know, we've cried uncle in the past, and we did it against the Zags. We set 3 back on every shot, or tried to. You know, a lot of times you try to get 2 guards back on a shot, but we've done that before against BYU when we played them. They ran so well, we just cried uncle and said they're better running than we are getting back. So we'll send 3 back on the shot. So I think we did a pretty good job after the start of the game controlling their fast break baskets or attempts and made it more of a half-court game. And then our kids played gritty. They played tough. You know, they rose to the occasion, and it was nice having Trey Kell, a senior, on the floor for an end of a game. You know, that's what you wait for as a coach, whether it's DJ Gay in his senior year or Xavier Thames in his senior year. You wait for your seniors to steady the ship at the end of the game, and I thought Trey and Devin did a great job of that. Our defense was really good, and it starts with ball pressure, and Jeremy Hemsley was fantastic. He put a lot of heat on the ball, and he set the tone to our defense with his pressure on the ball to start the game. So I'm real proud of how Jeremy played. And then Jalen McDaniels, the skinniest guy in basketball, continues just to move around and get rebounds and play hard. So he's an energetic, fantastic young player that's going to have a really nice future here at San Diego State.
Coach, you mentioned getting Trey back. Seeing him out there, seeing Malik, everybody closer to 100%, what does it say to you and your staff about what your team is capable of when everybody actually is out there?
You know, we've been waiting to see that. You know, we had Max Holtzel get hurt at Arizona State, and then he missed, and then we had Malik miss a half with a foot, and then Trey's missed 2 or 3 games with an ankle and then a hip, and so it's nice to see all the pieces out there. And then I think what you see is I have such a deep bench, and, you know, as a coach, you always want to find your top 6 or 7, but I finally had to cry uncle because I'll put 5 guys that I think are my best 5 to close a game out in practice, and the second group will beat them. And it'll happen again, and then the first group will win, and then the second group will beat them. And so at that point, it's got to be, I've got a lot of good players. I have to play them all early in the game and see who's playing well. And so Malik didn't get in at the end because I thought Jalen and Max were playing so well. So that doesn't mean the next game Malik's not going to be the guy in at the end, and Jalen or one of those Cam will be in or out. You know, I've got a lot of depth, and so I have to play them more early, more frequently, and just play who's playing the best at that time. And I thought they brought, everybody that played brought great energy.
You mentioned the risk more about just starting off rusty. So what was it like, or just with the players? Do you feel like the confidence just kind of boosted up when you guys were up 11 and Mitchell with those threes? Could you tell it just made a difference? You guys really needed that to start?
Yeah, basketball doesn't change anywhere. When the ball goes in, everybody plays harder. You know, the key to being a great team is when the ball doesn't go in, you still play hard. That's championship teams. So we'll see if we're that kind of team. When the ball doesn't go in, if we'll still play as hard defensively. But when the ball goes in like it did to start the game, it got our momentum going. And I thought that was really important because, you know, with not having played a game, if we got off to a slow start, who knows how long it would have taken us to get our rhythm. But we got right into rhythm, and it might have been the longest stretch I've ever seen without a dead ball for a timeout. I mean, we played all the way to the 12-minute mark without a whistle. So we missed the 16-minute timeout, and then we got to the 12-minute timeout, and neither coach wanted to take their first time out in that segment. So we just rode it until finally there was a foul called. I think everybody took a deep breath. Everybody was tired on the floor. And so then I brought, I think, 3 or 4 guys in at that time. And then we just kept the momentum going from that point.
Coach, what kind of win does this give you? What kind of momentum does this win give you going into conference
You know, it's a great win for us. I mean, like I said, I've said I'm not going to worry about resume and stuff like that. But when you beat a ranked team, it feels good. You beat a good Gonzaga team, and so it does feel good. You know, as a coach, I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this one over the holiday break. But I'm going to still wake up at night and obsess about the ones we lost. That's just the way coaches are. But it's a great way to build momentum moving into the conference. It gives the kids some confidence to know that all the work they put in was rewarded. And that's the hard part, you know. If we'd have lost a game, it wouldn't have they would have still put the hard work in, but then I, as a coach, would have had to get them to believe it's okay. The work is going to pay off in the long run. It's always easier to know the work pays off when you win. The hard part of coaching is when you put all that work in and you lose, and then you get a little discouraged. And so they're in control of their own attitudes. And so they've got a great attitude about getting better, about being a team player, and representing San Diego State the right way, both winning and losing.
When you make a decision, like you mentioned, how sending 3 back instead of 2, or just as a first-year head coach, what does it do for you when you see it pay off like that? They had 16 turnovers. It seemed like 4 or 5 of them were just on those outlet passes, or they just kind of lost the ball because you guys had extra help back there.
Yeah, we got numbers back. We didn't, you know, and even in the game when we were trying to get back, they were still running us. You know, they're a great running team. And so you have to decide what you're going to try to take away. And with that being said, we still did a good job on the offensive glass, sending 3 back. We still got a fair number of offensive rebounds, and that was a credit to Jalen, Max, and those guys that were in there battling. And then what we didn't want to do was leak out, you know, because they're a good rebounding team. And I watched the North Dakota game, and I thought North Dakota did a great job of having 5 defenders rebound every ball. Now, we didn't do as good as they did, but I thought our guards hung in there when our bigs were battling and picked up a lot of rebounds for us. So I was real pleased with, we put a game plan in and the kids followed it.
Coach, Jalen was able to find weak spots in the zone more in the second half than in the first. Is that something because of the plays you were drawing up, or was it just something where it was the rhythm of the offense against the zone?
You know, against the zone, you know, we've always done a good job putting it in the high post, and that's where Jalen thrived today. He caught it in the high post, faced up, and hit that little 12, 15-foot jump shot. Against Cal, we didn't put it along the baseline enough. So we tried to put it down to the baseline, too, a little bit more today. So that's where you attack a zone, short corners and high post. Everybody knows that if you watch any game in the country, everybody's trying to attack those spots. And so I thought we did a good job putting in those positions and making good plays out of it. The Zags were fantastic at, I mean, when we got it in the high post and we drove it in there, I mean, how many shots did they block at the rim, just go vertical and make us score over them? And I thought the refs called a great game. There was contact, but it was contact. We were initiating with the drives. They were jumping up vertically and did a really good job. And I tried to talk to the kids about trying to get in there and jump stop and use a shot fake because they're great shot blockers. But, you know, they're a fantastic shot blocking team or protecting the rim, and they did a good job against us today.
What do you think of Devin Watson's version of attacking the paint when he did the little spin?
Yeah, Devin's crafty like that. You know, when you're an undersized player your whole career, you have to be crafty. You know, so he's always been crafty, and that's every level I've seen him play, whether it's high school or AAU or at San Francisco and now with us. He's got ability to get in there and be crafty. I think he needs to do more of that. You know, when he's driving in there and trying to force the contact, he's not getting the calls. He needs to stop short and pivot around in there and be more crafty with the runner and stuff. So I thought he did a good job down the stretch with that one basket he hit.
What was the your thinking behind the starting lineup and the rotations? I know you toyed with Trey starting, Max starting. What was the final decision there?
You know, I was tempted to maybe throw Trey in there right away after he warmed up. Maybe he'd be loose, that thigh'd be a little looser to go. But Jeremy's worked so hard and been all 12 days of practice, putting the grind in. You know, so at some level you have to reward a guy that's there every day working his tail off. And so it was an easy decision for me to say I'm going to start Jeremy knowing I had Trey behind him. So reward Jeremy for all his hard work and just the way he pressured the ball. And then he came out and hit 2 big threes. And so Jeremy's playing at a really nice level. So my decisions are never going to be easy because I've got a lot of good players, like I've said. And so I thought Jeremy's performance, especially his ball pressure, I mean, I think Perkins had 6 turnovers, and I think a large part of that was Jeremy's ball pressure.
Was the thinking behind Trey and limiting his minutes in the first half and early in the second half to keep him on the floor late for that very reason?
Yeah, I was worried about Trey's conditioning. He hasn't been through a full practice since Thanksgiving. So he's got to get his legs back underneath him, and the injuries he's had did not allow him to run. You know, ankle injury, a thigh injury, so I think his conditioning's lacking a little bit, but I know his mentality and his toughness isn't. So I tried to rest him as best I could and maybe go offense for defense a little bit. I did that with Jeremy, you know, bring him in defensively and then bring Devin back offensively and make a few adjustments like that when I had a dead ball and could do it. But I think everybody that played contributed today.
And down the stretch, you just gave Trey the ball over and over and over again.
Yeah, Trey can draw contact. He got to the foul line. He drew fouls. You know, we ran ball screen plays or handoffs for him to try to get him downhill to draw contact because he's a gifted passer too. So I thought his ability to get to the body and draw contact, maybe where Devin wasn't getting those fouls, Trey was because he's just bigger and stronger. So I thought Trey did a good job drawing contact and then getting to the foul line for us down the stretch.
Does that kind of illustrate what you've been talking about, the value of having a four-year starter and senior captain on the floor late in the game?
That's it. That's what you wait for. You know, you wait to you get a guy to his senior year and hope all that experience and all those minutes he's played will be rewarded both for himself and for the Aztecs. And it was tonight. I thought Trey was great.